So as it turns out, the more evil and shady your organization is, the more likely that good people on the inside will be willing to leak your evil plans. Hey guys, it's Phil with the Minuteman Moment. GOA has actually obtained more internal documents detailing how ATF plans to build out its gun registry using Biden's so-called zero-tolerance crackdown on FFLs. The overwhelming majority of FFLs are law-abiding small businesses, and the owners want to follow the rules, as ridiculous as those rules are. But still, under the guise of lowering crime, the Biden administration is cracking down on, you guessed it, law-abiding FFLs. The document we obtained is actually an internal job notice posted by the Office of Enforcement Programs. The job? Well, it's helping seize more records for the ATF's gun registry. Selected applicants will search for non-respondent FFLs and generate certified notification letters to affected FFLs. Duties will include monitoring the status of field referrals, managing administrative duties to ensure responses received from active licensees are coded accordingly, coordinating and initiating the retrieval of GCA business records from FFLs that have ceased operations or gone out of business without forwarding firearm records to the ATF out of business records office in Martinsburg, West Virginia. And here's the kicker. This detail is scheduled to begin February 1st and run concurrently for 120 days. So summed up, ATF started, that's right, they've already started using industry operations inspectors, or IOIs, to start looking into trace requests that haven't been completed for whatever reason. So for instance, sometimes the FFL did respond and the ATF didn't mark that down, or they didn't get the response. Sometimes the FFL never got the trace request to begin with. But in July of 2021, GOA got another internal ATF document that puts this whole new ATF detail into perspective. That leak showed the ATF is changing the revocation rules for FFLs so that failure to respond even once to a trace request can be grounds for revoking your FFL license. That's brand new. So if these IOI inspectors can find a whole bunch of open traces and link them to a whole bunch of FFLs they claim never responded, they can revoke all of those licenses just like that. The new system is that revocation is automatic, or else the IOI has to document and justify and recommend that revocation is not appropriate in that instance. The word that we're hearing is that headquarters at ATF is just ignoring these IOI alternative recommendations and moving for revocation anyway. We'll just have to wait and see if there's an increase in FFL revocations in the coming weeks and months. But this also helps Biden build out the ATF's gun registry. If the ATF finds an FFL that didn't respond to a trace because it was out of business, then they can track down that person and demand the last 20 years of Form 4473s, increasing the number of guns and gun owners they have in their billion-record gun registry. Perhaps they may even criminally go after the out-of-business FFLs for failing to have turned over their out-of-business records within 30 days as required by law. Alternatively, if the gun store was not out of business, but the IOI inspector finds an open trace request, the Biden administration can shut down the FFL and, you guessed it, seize the last 20 years of records because they're now shut down. They're out of business. This all comes down to a win-win for the ATF and gun registration. The goal of these actions is to throw more obstacles at you. With less operational FFLs, the less access to guns we all have. We need to fight back against this. So share this video and spread the word. We need to light this story up so our representatives in Congress and bureaucrats in the ATF know that this is atrocious.